things that happen in it. You kind of don't. It plays with your emotions a lot. And there's one scene that you'll see, Dave, that we will definitely talk about once you watch the entire movie that everyone's talking about.
I want to tell you, I'm sure it's good, but it's never going to touch 2007's Donkey Punch.
What was that about?
Donkey Punch. Jenny, if you've not seen Donkey Punch, you gotta get it. Red
Is this
Donkey
sarcasm
Punch.
right now?
No.
Okay, I'm not sure. I can't tell.
Yes, it is. No, it's funny because I don't know why when you talk about bizarre and one bizarre moment in the movie, and there's some movies it's like have such a bizarre moment, and something made me think of Donkey Punch, which is like one of those urban dictionary terms. Okay, and then so we all went to Steve's house. We rented the DVD of Donkey Punch before streaming, and we all watched Donkey Punch, which was the stupidest movie about a donkey punch.
This is what IMDb says about this movie because I've never heard of it in my life.
Yeah, don't bother.
Things go drastically wrong for a group of British holiday makers in Spain. That's all it says.
No, drastically wrong. Speaking of movies, movie theaters been struggling to stay afloat over the past few years as people are opting to watch movies at home. Theaters are expensive, movies are getting longer, and it's just more comfortable to be on your own couch. So to make up for lost revenue, a lot of chains have been offering more food options in the hopes of attracting more customers, bringing in more money. Some theaters are even toying with the idea of adding an intermission to longer movies. The idea is that movie theaters usually go on moviegoers usually take a 15-minute break in the middle of a movie to use the bathroom or load up on snacks. So the movie companies are actually against the idea that it'll ruin the film. Movies there's still such a different experience in the theater. And I saw two of them. I saw Napoleon, which I really liked. Carson wanted to go see it. It was about 3 hours long, and Carson was lost. He did not follow the movie. He didn't understand it. Yeah. But then we saw Wonka, and Wonka was okay.
Yeah.
But the movie theater experience is really, it's very different. When we went to see Wonka, it was sold out. We sat in the front row.
I was going to say, you got to sit with your neck cranked up.
Front row. It wasn't that bad. But what was bad is there was a group of youths next to us.
The youths.
The youths came out to the movie. So there's about 14-year-old boys and girls. There's like 10 of them that all came in, sat together, chatted really loud during the previews, were on their phone.
Were they necking? Isn't that what they said back in the day?
They weren't necking, Jenny, no. But one of them said, I've got a fart. And I'm like, is this the kind of crowd? Is this the kind of 14? And I'm sitting next to this 14-year-old boy, and he's like, I got a fart. And I'm like, is this what I'm going to put up with? And he's like, I'm not watching this part. So he was scrolling on his phone, and I was trying really hard because I did not want to say anything like, can you guys be quiet? Because I knew it would embarrass Carson. So I held my tongue through the entire movie. They weren't that bad.
Yeah.
They were just more annoying than they should be. It's like, did your mom and dad ever teach you how to act in a movie theater?
I mean, they probably did. And then they got off on their own, and they forgot all manners that were ever taught to them because they felt the freedom and they could do whatever they want.
For what it's worth, he never did fart, at least not that I noticed.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
That was good news.
Still smelling the fresh popcorn smell, not the other kind.
Susan was making fun of me because we had just had dinner and I got a large popcorn. So she's like, do you really need that? I'm like, yeah.
How much of it did you actually eat?
About a third of the bag.
And did you bring it home or did you toss it?
Nah, because it's never good.
Because that was like, when we go to the movie theater, Andrew and I would always get the large one. And we finally realized, we're like, we don't need it. We don't need the large.
It sounds good though, right?
We do not need it. Like, small, honestly, is enough because you get sick of the popcorn eventually.
So you're wrong, though. A small is like, it's about the size of a, what is it the size of? Of a large cup.
Yeah.
It's nothing. There's not, but a large is like, that can feed a family of 6 for a week. You don't need that much. All right, this is some audio from New Year's Eve. Ryan Seacrest talked about his Wheel of Fortune hosting gig. Is he going to get this job?
I'm beyond excited. I mean, Pat Sajak is a legend. No one can replace him. Vanna White, she's become a dear friend. I'm so much looking forward to being on stage with her.
He also joked about postponing his retirement.
I fortunately signed a deal to stay on the radio as well with iHeartRadio for a few more years. So I will postpone retirement. I thought after Live with Kelly and Ryan I was going to take a break, but
right? Just add a couple more jobs.
But why?
And randomly enough, Andy Cohen says he was scammed out of a lot of money. Let's listen.
Someone called saying that they were fraud alert from my bank, and I am I said to my parents when they were here like a month ago, you guys, it is so easy to get scammed. I want you to be so careful.
Oh.
It wasn't a scam, but didn't Sydney from our show, she used to be on the show. She went to the U of M.
Yep.
She texted us about 5 days ago, and she said she got catfished because she was dating or talking to a guy for like weeks and getting to like him or whatever. And then he sent a car by her house to pick her up to take her to a bar.
Yes.
And then
that
what happened?
he was supposed to meet her
He was supposed to
at.
be there, yeah.
So he said, I'll send a car to come pick you up. And then she sat at the bar for 45 minutes. He never showed. She texted him. He had blocked her or something, but eventually they did text each other back. But she accused him of catfishing her, like he wasn't real or something like that because he never showed up. But then he later said that the driver, the quote unquote driver, AKA Uber, he sent to pick her up, told him that he didn't find her attractive, so he wouldn't show up, which is so mean because Sydney's beautiful.
She's beautiful, yeah.
So they got into it a little bit and eventually they blocked each other. But Sydney was accusing him of catfishing and impersonating someone else.
I said, Sydney, what are you meeting guys online for? I said, Sydney, you get the personality and you're gorgeous enough. You could walk into a Perkins and have a date within 10 minutes. And she said, well, it looks like I'm going to Perkins.
I know, she did say that. She's like, all right, Perkins it is.
I don't know how she can do that. Over the holidays, we got some very sad news, and you might have heard about that on the show back in the beginning of the Dave Ryan show. When I first got here, it was myself, Lee Valsvik, and Pat Ebertz. And Pat came from Phoenix because I knew him in Phoenix, and we brought Pat out here. And for years, we built this show, and we had a ton of fun. We were crazy back then. We did crazy stuff.
We never mentioned catfishing or blocking.
Never, not even once.
No.
Lee Valsvik is here from back in the day. Welcome, Lee, to the show.
Hi, Lee.
I love being on your show, but unfortunately, it's because of this.
Not the best circumstances.
No.
We got word on Christmas, the day after Christmas, that Pat Ebertz, our buddy, our friend, our pal, our coworker, had passed away suddenly. He died in his sleep on Christmas, the day after Christmas, and he was found unresponsive on his couch. And Pat left behind 4 kids and tons and tons of people who will never forget Pat. And so I wanted Lee to come in because I don't want to do this thing by myself. I want to talk with somebody who also remembers Pat. When you describe Pat to someone, Lee, what do you say? What do you say to Pat about Pat?
Oh, the nicest guy in the whole wide world. I mean, he was like a brother to you and I. So we fought like kids.
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of time, but we love each other like kids. You know, like when you called me the other day, and Dave's the one who called and told me what happened. I just couldn't believe it because he was sending me pictures all day, the day before on Christmas Day. I know, but he did that to a lot of people. Over the holidays, he does that. So, and it's like, okay, I'm driving, I'll get back to him, and I didn't get back to him. And I was like, but he was just, oh my gosh,
he was one of a kind.
I know, and back then, and your show is amazing now, but back then, wow, the memories. I keep reminding Dave of some of the things that happened.
And I don't remember.
He
remember
doesn't
that
remember.
time?
Or he's chosen to not remember.
I don't remember.
I don't
but
remember.
When Pat did something, we remember.
Pat did so much, and we got so much of the audio. We still save the audio after all these years. I'm going to play a little clip for you because back in the day, we used to do a lot. The show is different. We would send Pat. Lee and I would stay in the safe confines of the radio station. We weren't going to
get arrested.
And we would send Pat out to do different, funny, most of the time funny, crazy little stunts. Here is one where, just kind of a random one, we sent Pat to a hotel to check in with a live sheep. So he was checking in as if he was going to go into the hotel with a live sheep for a day of hot loving with the live sheep. So here's a little clip of that from back in the day.
This isn't actually really a pet. It's more of a companion for me.
I don't believe so.
Okay, all right. Well, what would be the rate in case I did have quiet ivory, honey? What would there be an extra charge for the sheep?
Probably so that they can start.
Ivory left a little present.
Oh, no.
Ivory.
Number 1 or number 2?
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave. I don't think they're going to let me stay here, so I'm going to have to take off with Ivory.
Pat,
Yeah?
will you? Was it number 1 or number 2?
Ivory let the number 2 drop in.
Little Ivory.
Little present for all the folks here. Yes?
I think you should try the Marquette next, okay? How's Little Sheep doing right now, Pat?
Well, Ivory is doing great. Ivory's back with Ebony, so they're quiet. I guess the way the sheep work, they're like, partners, and when they're separated, they don't make too much noise. But when they are apart, let me tell you, they whack.
She was upset. Ivory's a little girl, right? Little girl sheep?
I can't tell. Is Ivory a little? Yeah, Ivory is a female sheep. Both are. Oh, both are female sheep.
Now, Pat,
there's just a couple girls going out looking for a good time with the DJ in the morning, looking for a hotel.
Oh my God.
Are these sheep the size of like a beagle or a Rottweiler or a Great Dane? How big are the sheep?
Maybe like a really, really fat golden retriever.
Fat golden retriever. Oh, so they're pretty big.
How much would you say they weigh, Burnett?
Oh, I'd say close to 100.
Yeah, close to 100 pounds apiece?
At least 100 pounds.
That's 4 Tobies.
And see, I was picturing you carrying the sheep into the hotel under your arm. No wonder you couldn't do that.
Yeah. Got a little leash.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
you have to grab them by their rear end and underneath the chin, too.
Where the hell did we get
I
sheep?
have that a lot, by the way. It's not only sheep.
Oh my God.
Where did we have some listener donate a couple of sheep?
I have no idea. Pat could find anything.
Wow.
He found a parachute. Remember when he landed on Nicollet Mall?
This was, I that's one that I remember, but I had not thought about it.
It's mostly a photo. He laid it out. He spread the parachute out like he crashed onto Nicollet Mall and just laid there.
So he's
must have good insurance back then.
He's laying on Nicollet Mall like he landed in a parachute and he's injured, and people were coming up and going, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Because that's what was fun. I mean, it's hysterical now, but it was really funny back in the day. Our favorite bit, maybe not favorite, but the most memorable is we used to have a character on the show that we called Lucky Butt, John O'Connell, R.I.P. John O'Connell, who also passed away a few years ago. And so the story was if Lucky Butt went to the stadium before the Vikings played and rubbed his butt on the end zone, the Vikings would win. And sure enough, it worked.
And it worked, and it worked, and it continued to work. So we had to continue sending him to games.
So we sent Pat and Lucky Butt to Buffalo. The Vikings were playing on Sunday, so Friday morning, they're in Buffalo. And the stadium is locked up, and it's not going to open until later that afternoon. So Pat takes a side trip to Niagara Falls. And so he's like, "Yeah, can you hear the waterfall?" We said, "No, get up closer so we can hear the waterfall." "Can you hear it now?" "No, we can't hear it." And I think we kind of could, but we're kind of egging him on. So he climbs over the rail at Niagara Falls. And somewhere, and I haven't seen it in a while, is a photo of Pat. Imagine he's holding a cell phone.
Yep.
He's standing on a boulder about the size of a manhole, about 5 feet from the roaring lip of Niagara Falls.
Oh my gosh.
And there's snow and ice everywhere. And he got arrested. And here is a clip of Pat being arrested.
You're under arrest.
What did I do wrong?
Climbed over their railing.
I didn't see a sign that said I couldn't climb over the railing.
I just told you.
Ooh.
Hang up the phone, Pat.
Huh?
He's not laughing.
This is not a joke.
Hang up the phone. He told you to hang up the phone.
Are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live. We're still live.
I am now being escorted to the
He didn't cuff you?
policeman's car here, huh?
He didn't cuff you and stuff you?
No, he seems like a pretty nice guy.
Oh, Pat, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get you arrested.
Well,
It was Lee's fault, though. Lee was the one that suggested you walk out there on the
I
road.
don't know if we're going to make it to Rich Stadium now, Dave.
That's right.
Lucky Butt will.
Give the phone to Lucky Butt. You're on your own, pal. We got to get the butt out there. Pat?
Yes, Dave.
Don't worry, Pat. We'll take care of you.
You know, if he takes you to Canadian prison, you know what happens to people in Canadian
No,
prison.
this is American prison. This is
Oh, but not in Niagara Falls. They always take you to a Canadian prison.
Uh-huh.
You ever been to jail in Mexico?
I've never been to jail in
This is a
Mexico.
lot worse. This is a lot worse.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, let me see if I can talk to this gentleman. Here, let me give here's Lucky Butt. Lucky Butt got the phone.
You talk to Lucky Butt.
No, I'm following a police guy to the police station right now.
You're following? Okay, so this is Lucky Butt now driving behind the car with Pat in the back. Lucky Butt, played by John O'Connell, he had it. He was like, Pat snores, He makes noise all night. He takes phone calls in the middle of the night. He's late for everything. I will never travel with him again. Then he got arrested. Now Lucky Butt's really pissed off.
Pat in the police car at the police station.
You may need to rub your butt on the cell a little bit.
No, they already took him away. This is a different police officer.
Oh, so somebody else came and took Pat away?
Yeah.
Is it American police?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on the American side.
Do you have your Western Union number?
Now, we just got a call from Mark Coleman, our general manager.
You need to call him.
Yeah, so you might want to call him if Pat needs like bail money or anything like that. Yeah. Wait, Lucky Butt.
I just want to make it one perfectly clear right now to everybody at that station.
What?
I'm never getting on a plane with Pat anywhere ever again. Mark, are we taping?
Yes. No, we're live right now. We are live right now.
I'm going to swear. You better cut me off.
Don't
Mark
swear.
put the delay on.
What?
Mark my f***ing words.
All right. Now,
that was the thing about Pat. He would do anything for a laugh and anything to be entertaining on the radio.
Now they're together. Forever.
Even at the risk of annoying other people.
Love
he was just a good guy. And we say Pat loved everybody and everybody loved Pat. So we will miss him.
Yeah.
And we had not seen Pat a lot lately because he worked at another radio station, but we used to see him every day.
I ran into Mike.
His
about a
brother,
month
his
ago,
twin brother.
and
yeah.
You can't tell the difference. They're twins.
Yeah.
Yep. They're literally
I
twins.
have to just go, okay, let's talk for a second before I have to ask which one are you?
Yeah.
And we know him so well.
We do know
That's
so
how
well.
crazy it is.
I mean, a huge loss for, Pat's 4 kids and for Mike and his family and so many people that love Pat. So,
And you?
he was my
And
buddy.
me? I know.
And I've said this before. I think that Pat was the biggest male influences in my life were my dad first, my college broadcast instructor second, and Pat Ebertz third. And I don't think at the time I knew what an influence Pat was, but he taught us so much about kindness and patience and taking time for other people. One last story is that when Pat would ask you, how are you, Lee? Fine. But he really wanted to know. He really wanted to know, how's your dog? How's your baby? How's your trip?
Do you golf in the fall?
Yes, exactly. We're riding on the elevator one time. There's awkward silence because we're tired and bored or whatever. It's me, Lee, and Pat. And so Pat could not stand silence. And Lee plays golf all the time.
Yeah. Big golfer.
And it was probably October.
Yeah.
So to break the awkward silence, Pat says, Lee, do you golf into the fall? And Lee said, shut up, Pat. Nobody cares if I golf into the fall. Pat probably actually really
But
did
you
care.
and I have repeated that comment to each other for what?
It's a Pat Ebertz line.
35
20
years.
Yeah. Do
Crazy.
you golf into the fall? Anyway, R.I.P., buddy. We'll miss you. It is 101.3 KDWB. Can you hang out for a while?
Yeah.
We're going to play a game called Lyric Shuffle.
Oh, yeah.
We are. You don't know what it is, but it's going to happen in a second here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a game, play a song, so Jenny can go next door and then run Lyric Shuffle, and it's going to be me versus you in a battle of lyrics.